Hello, everybody. My name is Luke Potkin, and I am the Fair Director for the other art fairs in Australia. Welcome to our virtual editions of the Sydney Fair. So 2021 has seen us enter a new era of running events, now being hosted in the digital space. So it's really an opportunity for us to give everyone a chance to experience and enjoy the event without having to do so in person. So if people are too far away, if people aren't able to for any reason, this virtual edition gives everyone a chance to meet, discover and engage with the artists that were at our in-person event last week in Sydney. So you find yourself here in our entrance to the Cutaway, our home here in Sydney in Barangaroo. And what we're going to do is going to venture into room 2 today. So we have 3 rooms available for you to access during the course of this week, each hosting over 30 artists, just giving you an opportunity to enjoy the show in bite-sized chunks. So you can spend a bit of time each day exploring the aisles, getting to see the artists inside and interacting with them should you wish. There'll be a number of other tours taking place this week, both hosted by myself and also the Saatchi Art curatorial team. So if you'd like to check out more of those, do go to the Virtual Editions website and register for those. And they'll also be hosted on the Other Art Fair's YouTube channel for you to see afterwards. So if you're coming here with a specific artist in mind that you'd like to see, the full list of artists is here and you can discover which room each of them are in. But for today, we know where we're going. We're going to head to room 2 and we can make our way in past Clinton Gorse mural. He's got more work available in room 3 should you wish. I'm going to head into room 2. So once inside, you see the artworks all there and the artists there ready to show you their amazing collections. There's a couple of ways you can navigate around once you're inside the room. You can use the arrows to move around the space and discover it as and when things come to you. And you can also, if you have a specific artist in mind, everyone that is in room 2 will feature in this list. So you can hit a name and that will take you directly to their stand. Once there, as with the case here with Amanda Louise McPaul, you can obviously take in her stunning work and see that for yourself. You can also watch her video, which is over here on the left, which will give you a bit of an insight into her inspirations and a chance to kind of get a sense of who the artist is. If you want to take that conversation further, you can go to the Let's Chat function here. You can actually schedule in appointments to meet our artist online and have a further discussion. But if you've got a quick question or you don't have time for a full-on appointment, the envelope icon here will allow you to actually sign the guest book, give your details direct to the artist, maybe with a question that you'd like answered, and they can come back to you in their own time and help you decide on potentially making a purchase in the fair. All the artwork is available, providing it hasn't already sold, which has been the case over the last few days. Lots of it has been sold already, but the red dots will show you what is and isn't available. So let's go and meet our first artist. We know who it is, so we're going to hit the artist list and we're going to find Cathy Frank, and she will join us at her booth and we will have a little chat with her there. Hello, Cathy, are you here?
I'm here. Can you see me?
We can see you. How are you doing?
It's great being stuck in this magic box.
The magic box, and yet we can still connect. That's the main thing. That's what the digital era is all about. So here we are in front of your incredible booth. Thank you so much for putting your work on show this week.
And thanks for having me.
It is our pleasure as always. So do you want to give us just a very brief introduction as to what people can expect when exploring your collection? Who are you as an artist, would you say?
Oh, me, gosh, I like to kind of challenge the norms. So that goes from doing anything from digital art that you just no longer see anywhere and really making it as psychedelic and as crazy and imaginative as possible, just exploring the unreality of it all. Or I really enjoy doing like kind of anti-art, kind of like stuff that's just like crazy collage and then just like pouring my feelings out on a page. So you'll find that that's across all my artwork. I just wanted to add that I also work as a designer, so you're going to see people running around back and forth, and there will be noise and footsteps and maybe a toilet flushing, so I apologize.
That's quite all right. It perfectly demonstrates the plight of the modern day artist, having to handle a Zoom, a day job, your artistic practice, it's all happening at once. And what a perfect demonstration of that. No worries at all. Oh, the other thing that Cathy did mention to me earlier is she does have a habit of occasionally using the odd naughty word. So if she does accidentally stray into any swearing, we're going to apologize in advance, and then that hopefully lets her off the hook. So
come on, guys, be nice, be gentle.
They will be nice. So yes, psychedelic, I think we can see that. And so you were saying about, your, emotional thoughts and feelings that comes out onto the work that you're displaying. So do you want to talk us more about that?
Yeah, so for example, like in the works that with the typography, so I've got like some stuff where it says not enough, or maybe I'm doing the best that I can, and just exploring kind of my emotions and my thoughts and the bits that are happening then and there at the time. So you can see that I like to use dances on those particular ones because I feel like they're always moving, constantly striving for perfection, trying their best to be as good as possible. And then but sparkle it up with a bit of glitter and just constantly trying and failing and not being enough. So you'll find that there's common tropes like that throughout the work, just kind of really introspective, I suppose.
Yeah, and I think that's what's really interesting about your work is it's both grappling these really sort of meaty subjects like feelings of inadequacy and fallibility, but then at the same time you'll then move into the more playful and perhaps more surface. And actually, I must say, I know for a fact the other art fair team are, as a rule, massive dog lovers. So I think this
yeah.
This piece will certainly pique their interest. But yeah, I mean, I think that's what's great about it, that you do straddle from one extreme to the other in terms of that maybe more superficiality into some of that gritty, real internal struggle that so many people will feel.
Well, that's kind of life, right? You kind of, one second you're just playing along. I feel like my work is bipolar. I'm just kind of always jumping around, and it's just dependent on how I'm feeling that day, or, if someone said something nice to me or not, So I suppose, yeah, you'll find that there's a lot of emotion and a lot of movement in where I'm thinking.
And very relatable in that sense as well. I mean, I think it's so often it's things that people can feel and see within themselves. So what about this trio of work in the middle here? What do we have here?
So these are my 3 dances. So they were created out of, I kind of have this thing called rheumatoid arthritis, and I had to stop dance classes, and it was extremely upsetting for me to not be able to dance. So I was just trying to capture that moment, because the feeling that you get when you dance and you feel like you're just floating in space, and just trying to capture movement without it actually being a moving image. So that repetitive nature, that kind of floating on air, and it was kind of my way of recapturing that and trying to live through it again. So with that, I also used my partner's photography. And so, for example, the background was created by him photographing like a bubble of soap. And then I grab that and take that and completely manipulate it and stuff it up in Photoshop to kind of make it look psychedelic and really crazy. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, essentially just experimenting with photography that my partner makes, and then kind of capturing the movement in a still image, and yeah, kind of relaying that with the experiences I used to have when I was dancing. That's pretty much it.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, so yeah, I mean, obviously, you mentioned about the sort of psychedelic feel of that. I think there's that movement comes through, and it's great that you're able to collaborate with your boyfriend in such a a dynamic way. Although I met him at the weekend and didn't realise he was so integral to the work. So clearly, he wasn't being given the credit he deserved.
All he does is take a photo of what I tell him to. So
okay, this is
he's really great. No, he's great. If he's watching right now, I love you, honey.
Okay, and what do we have over here? Do you want to talk us through these as well?
Yeah, sure. So these works of which ones are we pointing at right now?
At Feels Like Flying. What was the motivation behind
Feels
this?
like, oh, that's my partner for sure. So skateboarding to me always just looked like the most fun. It just looked like the closest thing could do to fly. You know, when me and my partner used to sit there and watch skateboarders just do their massive tricks and go crazy. And it just was like, it just looks awesome. And I just wanted to kind of create that sort of rainbow moment, that feeling like you're flying. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. It is what it looks like. Fun.
Yes, and that's the thing. I think the big bold color, the fun comes through in your work, and yeah, I encourage everyone to check out more of Cathy's work as it comes. And thank you so much, Cathy. We will now make our way on with our tour, and we're going to go and visit Claire Cavanna, who is very different in her aesthetic to Cathy, I think it's fair to say. So they're a nice juxtaposition. We're going to go and see Claire and see what she has to say about her latest body of work.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Hi, Cathy. Thank you. Hello, Claire.
Hello, Luke. My goodness, I am so low-key compared to Cathy. It's like, let's take it down a few
Well,
notches.
that's what this is all about, having those differences of aesthetics. And, you know, this is all about people finding the art that they love. And this is the beauty of art. You know, it's very subjective in what people are drawn to. So, do you want to give us
amazing.
Do you want to give us the introduction? So, Claire, I suppose historically, I've seen your work as you know, kind of abstract landscape work, but this particular body of work is quite different to what you've perhaps produced in the past. Is that right? Do you want to tell us how this whole collection got started for you?
It all started ready for last year's other art fair that didn't eventuate and had to be postponed until just now. And
the long-awaited,
so I guess I wanted to move on from the landscapes, and I wanted to explore language, which is something I studied at uni when I was doing my art degree. I was studying semiotics, which is the study of signs and sign systems in language, but I wanted to apply that to visual work. And also I have a number of friends from different Asian countries, and their languages are so complex and something that I've always wanted to learn, but I struggle and it's just beyond my comprehension. I don't know why I don't have that skill. I just don't have that skill. So I decided, right, I'm going to do some work to get that out. And this is how it all came about.
So really it's all about kind of communication and that desire to be understood.
It is.
Is that right?
Yes, they're all conversations. So
should we, with that in mind, should we start to focus in on some of the specific pieces, and you can give us a sense of, and as I said, the whole collection is the Rhythm of Language collection. Is that right?
It is. So what we're looking at here is the Rhythm of Language, the very first piece that I created. And when you're looking at the white imagery, that is the person talking, that's the conversation. And when you're looking at the black, that is the other person comprehending and listening to what's being said and trying to work out, well, what are they trying to say to me? What's going on here? And then the little wisps of white, they are actually whispers. So it's somebody coming in on the conversation as well. So that's it in a nutshell.
And is it purposeful that you sort of given over more space in the piece to the person listening than to the person talking? Is there something?
Yeah, that's me. I listen a lot and I try to understand things, and I find that if I listen, I generally start to get what's going on. But again, the language is just beyond me. But I so admire people with multi-linguistic skills in this country, because we never know what language to choose. You know, there's so many different types of people here.
And as English speakers, obviously we're sort of given a bit of a reprieve in terms of our need to try and communicate in different languages. I think we all need to recognise how lucky we are in many respects.
We are.
But yes, you're very good at listening, and I'm told that I'm way too good at talking. So I'll do my best to back off and let you tell more about your work. So yeah, should we? Because that piece is very much a conversation, as it were, between two people, albeit with those kind of whispers interjecting in between. What about this piece here, which does incorporate a bit of colour? So do you want to tell us more about about this particular work?
Yes, well, I incorporated the blue and the brown and a little bit of beige in some of the works, and they represent interlopers. So they're people interrupting the conversation or becoming part of the conversation. And this one is called Interlopers Mingling. So there you can see them mingling around the conversation. So there's the white in the background, the person talking, and then there's not much black because there's more chatting going on than listening.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think this is something that we again, we're finding new ways to communicate, aren't we? Over the last year, something we all had to think about. It's a difficult time for some people, being forced into trying to communicate in new ways that they maybe haven't before. For one final piece, then, should we take a look at this one here? Do you want to tell us more about the kind of narrative behind that?
This is gossip. So there's a lot of chat going on here. That's could be a bit, I want to say something rude, but I won't. So it could be people just being nasty about someone else. It could be just, intrigue in other people's relationships, but there's a lot of chat going on, little bits of thought, trying to work out how can I get involved in this conversation? Do I really want to be involved in this conversation? So it's just a bit of fun. It's called gossip.
It's all sort of competing for attention and
yeah,
chaos amongst it as well, like that,
yeah,
which I enjoy.
Yeah.
Okay, and is there any other pieces you'd like to kind of draw our attention to, or give us a sense of?
I guess the whole premise is about, I've written it on the wall, rhythm creates movement, movement creates change, and change creates endless possibilities, which is how I felt at the beginning of COVID, right? Let's embrace this and let's move on and see what we can do with this whole life now that we have. And I started a new series, which is on exhibition at another gallery, called Rhythm of the Land. And then the next one is Rhythm of Friendship. So there's a whole new style of works coming out based around rhythm. So, yeah.
Well, yes, change does create endless possibilities. I think it's something we've all had to really learn how to be more adaptable, across the board in so many ways this last year. So I think, communication being such a key part of that. Well, thank you so much. It's a stunning collection. I'm sure everyone will agree. And as with any of the works we have on display, if people do want to make any of the work available their own, you can just click on individual pieces and go to more info, and then you'll be able to go through to buy the piece with our partners Saatchi Art. So that's possible for the work on show, both in Claire's booth and many others. But meanwhile, we're going to go and see our third artist. Now, our third artist is currently, it transpires, still trying to make his way home from our in-person event at the weekend. So he is based in Adelaide, South Australia. So he's making his way back from Sydney. And we have learnt that sadly, that journey, as long as it is means it's not possible for him to join us live any longer. So there's been some delays on the way there. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take you to his video, his Meet the Others video, and we will let him introduce himself, and then we'll look at a couple of the pieces that he has on display. So bear with me a moment while we introduce Dan.
Hello there, I'm Dan Withey, and I'm a visual artist. I mostly paint works, but I also do drawing works as well. My work is predominantly acrylics, although I do paint in oils occasionally. The most important thing in my works that I like to touch on is, I think, a sense of fun, because the world is sometimes a bit of a negative place, and I enjoy kind of poking fun at and also picking at things that I don't really know the answers to myself. So mostly my artwork is me trying to deal with not knowing, like, the things that are unknowable, and me trying to tackle those issues by kind of poking fun at them. I'm mostly inspired by the world around me and other artists' work, such as Brett Whiteley, Arthur Boyd, Sidney Nolan, like the modernists. But yeah, pretty much everything, really. Everything I see goes into and comes out as paintings. The reason why I'm an artist, I think mostly because I'm not very good at anything else, being dyslexic. So my years at school were kind of not great. So it's nice to be able to do something that I'm good at.
So there you go. That was Dan, and as he said, he claims not to be good at anything else. But the good news for Dan is he's an incredibly talented artist, and he was really well received at the show this weekend. So we're really pleased to have him as part of the show. And I think one thing that his artwork is very much just a pure representation of him as a person. He's a man who will dart from one topic to another very quickly. He's very energetic, very expressive, and his work really depicts that so well. The things that he's grappling with in his own mind become very much integral to the pieces that he creates. So if we take, for example, Achy Breaky Mind over here, Dan and I talked about his this being that representation of the fragmented mind that we all have, these different personalities competing for attention within your own self. Yes, that's what these different faces, we have that smile that is displayed across the middle, and yet when you look to one side or another, there may be some anxiety that is being masked by that smile. Different personality traits, some that you expect and know, some that you may be surprised to discover even within yourself. And there's lots of incredible detail within this work. His mark making really gives it that vivacity. And we also, just touching upon a conversation we've just had with Claire there, we have a piece here which is very much about connectivity in the modern day. This is holding on to the intangible. And as you can see here, this is a slightly bewildered looking gentleman clinging on for dear life to that rainbow, which obviously, whilst the rainbow is real, it's also intangible. This really talks about concepts, the concept of the ever-changing world we live in. We're more and more connected, and yet we may feel more and more astray from the 7 billion people that share this planet with us. There's different routes and roads that are going in different directions, and it's often impossible to know which is the path to be trusted. So have, as you can see, really vivid works that Dan creates, really interesting, quirky, often humorous. I actually had the chance to, I was walking past Dan at the other art fair, Sydney, just this weekend, and he was actually on his stand scribbling away, and I inquired what he was furiously scribbling, and it turned out he just encountered a man at the fair who, the man with the hanging open mouth, I think was how he described him. So it was a man that was kind of gormlessly wandering around our fair, not quite sure why he was there, as Dan put it, and almost perplexed that he could find himself in an art fair. So within minutes of that encounter, Dan was there scribbling away, getting ready to create a new piece, which I'm really excited to see whenever that manifests itself. So yes, much like Dan and Claire and Cathy, they're all fantastic artists. We have over 30 in room 2. I'd just like to invite Cathy and Claire, the opportunity just to come back and say their goodbyes. Thank you both so much for being part of that.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure. Anytime.
And you're both available for appointments during the course of this week for people if they want to schedule appointments. Is that right?
Yeah,
I believe so.
So there you go, everyone. That was Cathy Frank, Claire Cavanna, and Dan Withey, and that was me, the fair director for the other art fairs here in Australia. And do enjoy exploring room 2. We'll see you again soon.